Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. I am Dr. Truett Wagner, and as always, I am very, very happy you are here. On this episode, we have a double first. We have our first CEO, and we have our first guest coming off of a very successful TED Talk. Everyone meet the one and only Ruth Rathblott.
I am Ruth Rathblott. I am an inspirational speaker. I'm a Tedx speaker, and I'm an award-winning CEO. And I came to talk to you today about the idea of diversity, disability, and truly my journey of unhiding. Yeah. So it's been a journey from hiding to unhiding. I was born with a disability. I was a female. I think that career and achievement were very much a focus, especially I think the disability part. Like I was going to prove that I could. And so I had that mindset going into career. And I will say, I think one of the life-changing places for me was graduate school, because it was the first time that I understood the work that I was studying was going to be relevant to what I was doing. And so, because I went to social work school, I got my master's in social work. And so for me, I could connect the dots. And I think that's a big part of career development, is connecting the dots from what you're learning to what you're doing. I think the other piece around career for me is I was always trying to achieve. And so even at one point, I went to my boss and I said, you know what, I'm really bored. And whether it was to get me to go away or whether it was to see if I would actually follow up, which I hope the strategy was the second, he said, go and write your next job description and come back. And again, was he doing it to get me to leave his office, or was he seeing, is she really serious about wanting the next step? Because she's going to have to take it if she wants it. Like she's going to have to show me that she wants it by writing it up. And I came back to him, sure enough, and I said, this is where I see myself, and here's the steps. And I did that every year with him. And I went back and rewrote and wrote my job description. And I was lucky because he was a supportive supervisor who said, I want to see you grow, but you have to own a piece of it too. Because I think one thing I've seen as I've mentored young people over the years is there's a lot of assumption of this belongs to me because I've been here. No, it doesn't. It's actually, you have to build your foundation, and then you have to help me see where you're going and ask for opportunities. So I was always asking for opportunities. I think it's extremely important to ask questions about disabilities for the reason that, especially if it comes from a place of curiosity, not necessarily a place of trying to getcha or the gotcha mentality, but from a place of curiosity, I think it's super important because we make assumptions all the time about people with disabilities and what they can or cannot do. We almost imagine and formulate plans for them rather than thinking, hey, let's get their input on what they can do or not do. Let's ask them what happened. And if they're comfortable to answer, then we get to understand rather than assume. I've had to literally my whole life forecast and think steps ahead of how I'm going to handle a situation. And yet people make assumptions still that I might not be able to handle something. I spent 25 years hiding my hand. Literally got really, really good at it, where if I were sitting across from you right now, you would not know, because I would have it in my pocket. I would have worn longer sleeves. I probably might not even have done this interview. I might have preferred the Zoom interview style because you wouldn't have seen all of me. Now I'm at the place of I've learned how to accept it because I let someone in. So there was a whole journey of acceptance. I found people like me with limb differences that almost had this shared experience that was powerful to know I wasn't alone. And then there was this last piece of I started sharing out my story. And I have to tell you, people got comfortable when I started sharing their differences with me and their hiding. And hiding is so pervasive. It happens all the time. So this idea of hiding and unhiding is a big piece for me in how I'm thinking about disability and how I'm thinking about the world, frankly, around diversity. I think the other piece that I would love people to know is the idea of I love adventure. I love travel. I like to push the boundaries. I went ziplining this summer. I kayak. I water ski. I try things, but I have to figure it out. Kayaking with one hand is hard. but I figured it out. And so it's always about, for me, figuring something out to accomplish it and to achieve it. I don't let myself off the hook that often. Knowing now at this age, what I wish I had known at 13 is I could have found safe places to talk, and let people know I was hiding and that I was challenged, and I felt afraid that no one would like me. I was afraid no one would be my friend. I was afraid no one would hire me. I was afraid no one would date me, honestly. I was afraid people would find me ugly. So I understand why I hid, but I wish that I had a place that I could have talked about it. Now, what I understand and what I'm trying to do along with others is to use the word disability as a strength rather than a weakness. And so the idea is, how do we reframe that word of disability? And then how do you advocate to talk about it's a piece of you? It's not all of you. That's the other piece to disability. Just because someone has a disability doesn't mean that defines them. It's a piece of them that they can be proud of because it makes them different, it makes them unique, it's their gift. So the more that we can celebrate the gifts and the uniquenesses, the more we can celebrate disability. Yeah. Okay. Wow.